Great morning, and welcome to Passionate Pursuit for Manifested Purposes Ministries. We are so excited to have you with us today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being here. What an amazing day it has already started out to be. If you missed this morning's prophetic drive-by, make sure you go back and check it out. There was a word from the Lord. Honey, we're talking about November is a month of separation. Get ready to be separated to go forward. Great morning, great morning, great morning. Listen, let me ask you guys to do me a favor. Go ahead and share this broadcast. Share this broadcast so that somebody that needs to hear a word from the Lord will be able to hear just that today. Make sure that you share, because sharing is what? It's caring. Listen, I am Dr. Veronica Wiggins, also known as Dr. V, pastor of Passionate Pursuit of Manifested Purposes Ministries. Listen, we are an online ministry. We are virtual, and you are able to participate and be a part of what it is that we do from anywhere in the world. Listen, y'all, that's no joke, no game. You're able to be a part of what we do from anywhere in the world. And I pray that today's word absolutely blesses you. Now, look, this morning as I got up and I got ready to say, God, what is it that you want me to say to your people? Listen, God began to talk to me, and he began to talk to me about our mind. He began to talk to me about our mind. So I need you to buckle up and get ready, because you're going to get a mind check. Okay, we are checking our mind, checking our thoughts, checking ourselves so that we can move forward into the greatness that God has already ordained for our lives. And greatness is our portion. So if you would go with me in the Bible to Ephesians chapter 6, Ephesians chapter 6, we're going to get into this word and see what thus saith the Lord. Ephesians chapter 6. We're going to be talking about the majority of the chapter, not necessarily the whole chapter. Ephesians chapter 6. Stacy's going to go ahead and share that on the screen. We're reading from the New Living Translation. And the word of God reads thus. Children and parents. Children, obey your parents because you belong to the Lord. For this is the right thing to do. Honor your father and mother. This is the first commandment with a promise. If you honor your father and mother, things will go well for you and you will have a long life on the earth. Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger by the way you treat them. Rather, bring them up with the discipline and instruction that comes from the Lord. Slaves, obey your earthly masters with deep respect and fear. Serve them sincerely as you would serve Christ. Try to please them all the time, not just when they are watching you. As slaves of Christ, do the will of God with all your heart. Work with enthusiasm as though you were working for the Lord rather than for people. Remember that the Lord will reward each and one of us for the good we do, whether we are slaves or free. Masters, treat your slaves in the same way. Don't threaten them. Remember, you both have the same master in heaven, and he has no favorites. A final word. Y'all ready? Be strong in the Lord and the power, and in his mighty power. Put on all of God's armor so that you will be able to stand firm against all strategies of the devil. For we are not fighting against flesh and blood enemies, but against evil rulers and authorities of the unseen world, against mighty powers in this dark world, and against evil spirits in the heavenly places. Therefore, put on every piece of God's armor so you will be able to resist the enemy in the time of evil. Then, after the battle, you will still be standing firm. Stand your ground, putting on the belt of truth and the body armor of God's righteousness. For shoes, put on the peace that comes from the good news so that you will be fully prepared. In addition to all of these, hold up the shield of faith to stop the fiery arrows of the devil. Put on salvation as your helmet and take the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. Pray in the Spirit at all times and on every occasion. Stay alert and be persistent in your prayers for all believers everywhere. And pray for me too, Ask God to give me the right word so I can boldly explain God's mysterious plan that the good news is for Jews and Gentiles alike. I am in chains now, still preaching this message as God's ambassador. So pray that I will keep on speaking boldly for him as I should. That's Ephesians 6, 1 through 19. Now, let me talk to you guys for a second. This chapter and part of this text is often used to abuse positions of power and authority. Let me start where he talks about the children and the parents, right? When he talks about the children and the parents, he tells the children, obey your parents, for this is what's right, right? You should obey your parents. You should honor your father and your mother that your days might be long. But he also goes on to say, even as the children should obey their parents, fathers, read parents, don't provoke your children. Don't provoke them. Don't be provoking them and then talking about, I don't know why they did that. You provoke them. Don't provoke them. See, there's always responsibility on both sides in relationship, whether we're talking about children and parents, masters and slaves, us and God. We have responsibilities. So with the children, yes, you are to honor your parents because it is right. And it is the only commandment that comes with a promise. Obey them. Obey them regardless. Just obey them. Now, let me say this, though. In our attempts to obey our parents, sometimes our parents don't get it right. Sometimes our parents have us doing things that are wrong. Listen, if you obeyed them, know that God will make it well with you. Okay? Because you were doing what your parents said because you thought that it was the right thing to do. Even if it was wrong, the wrong falls on the parent and not on the child. So when we tell our children to lie and say that we're not home, that lie is not their lie. That lie is ours. Because what they did was obeyed their parent. Okay? He goes on in the text, Paul does, to talk to masters and slaves, right? And I think this is really interesting because this is one of the scriptures that has been used to justify slavery, right? But slavery as we knew it in the United States and slavery as we knew it, whether we're talking about with African descended people or Chinese or the Native Americans, did not look like this. He said, not only slaves obey your masters with deep respect and fear, we could even say employees and employers. Okay, the same principles fit. Serve them sincerely as you would serve Christ. Try to please them all the time, not just when they are watching you. As slaves of Christ, do the will of God with all your heart. Work with enthusiasm as though you were working for the Lord rather than for people. And remember that the Lord will reward each one of us for the good we do, whether we are slaves or free. But then it goes on to say, masters, treat your slaves in the same way. Don't threaten them. Now, we know that that's not what happened in slavery as we know it. So the slavery that was experienced then, Paul was setting a standard for how people were to operate within the confines of slavery, right? And masters were to treat their slaves well. Employers treat your employees well. Remember, you both have the same master in heaven, and he has no favorites. So there's accountability that is held, right? There's an accountability that is held. But then, baby, let me tell y'all something. Paul gets into this armor. And this is why I say we have to get our minds right, because whichever position we occupy, whether we're the child or the parent, whether we are the master or the slave, the employer or the employee, you got to get your mind right. You got to understand what God's expectation is of you. Listen, we are so busy and get so caught up in trying to make the other person do what they're supposed to do. And we get frustrated and overwhelmed and disgusted and all of these things. but really it is your job to do your part. And when you can no longer do your part in that situation, you may have to separate yourself in order for God to do a work necessary in the other person. But by the time we get to verse 10, Paul says, listen, let me give you this final word. Be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Listen, you've got to be strong. Now, strength. Let's talk about strength. Stacey, you can pull it down. Strength. When we think of strength, we think of physical power. We think of the physical. We think of, oh, I'm strong. I'm mighty. I got muscles, right? No, that's not what he's talking about. He says, be strong in the Lord. Be strong in your mind, in your convictions, in your walk, in what you do. Be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. See, our strength doesn't come from us. It doesn't come from lifting weights. It doesn't come from, us strong arming people, but our strength comes from the Lord and the power of his might. Listen, let me tell you something, baby. Play with God's might if you want to. Play with God's power if you want to. Baby, you're going to find yourself losing every single time because you cannot beat God. There's a play called You Can't Box with God, right? And it is a play about a Black family, and it talks about the things that they went through, and it talks about them and their ability to wrestle with and fight God in the midst of all the things that they were going through, right? You got to understand that in this season, we are at war. We're at war. This is a war. This is a battle. Okay. And you better know that your strength is in the Lord and not in yourself. Because if you think your strength is in you, oh, when things get real tough, oh, you'll faint, you'll buckle. But when you understand that your strength is in God, when you are weak, he is made strong. So then you can withstand some stuff that everybody else would tell you will take you out, that will take the average person out, but you can do it. How is it that you can do it? Because your strength is in him. You're standing strong in the power of God. In his might. Listen, I'm telling you, it goes on and it says, put on all of God's armor so that you will be able to stand. You will be able to stand. Let me get it. Hold on. So that you will be able to stand firm against all the strategies of the devil. So, first of all, the devil don't do no new stuff. He brings old stuff. He's going to keep attacking you with the same old stuff, right? Until it doesn't work anymore. So you got to learn how to put on the armor so that you can stand against the strategies. So one thing about the devil is very strategic. You out here trying to play checkers and the devil playing chess. Okay. So you thinking, oh, I done won because I done jumped 2 checkers. No, what you don't know is you on the wrong board. He on a whole different board. He moving chess pieces, and chess pieces move differently than checkers. So you don't know what board you're on. So you're moving like you're playing checkers, but you're on a chess board with chess pieces, and they don't move the same. Different pieces make different moves. So you got to understand what piece you are on the board so that you can understand what moves are what legal. See, the devil knows what moves are legal for him. There are some moves that he can't make because they are illegal. God has not given him the authority and the power to make those moves. And because he understands that those moves are illegal, he don't do those moves. But you don't understand that those moves are illegal, so you allow him to threaten you with moves that he can't make. Now you worked up, stressed out, overwhelmed, pulling your hair out, not getting no sleep about moves the devil can't even make against you. So he convinces you to make moves that damage yourself because he knows that he can't do it. Now you moving against yourself because you don't understand what's legal for him in his strategies and what's not. Same old tricks. Same old things. When you begin to look at your life and you begin to look at the times of your life where you were almost positioned to get ready to do something great and something happened, it's probably the same thing, has the same root. It's the same pattern. It's the same thing. It can be from you or it can be from him. But at the end of the day, you end up being your own worst enemy. And you're wondering why, God? Why, God? Why? Why me, God? Why do I always go through this? Because you always fall for the same old tricks. The okey doke. You fall for the okey doke. While you caught up in the okey doke, the enemy is making his next moves because he knew you was going to fall for the okey doke. In verse 12, it says, for we are not fighting against flesh and blood enemies, but against evil rulers and authorities of the unseen world, against mighty powers in this dark world, and against evil spirits in the heavenly places. This battle is not against people. Now, the enemy will use people. The devil uses people absolutely in the same way God uses people. There's nothing that can be done on this earth, in the earth realm, without the use of physical bodies. Well, who possesses physical bodies? People possess physical bodies. So what happens is whether we're talking about God or we're talking about the devil, they can only do what they do legally in the earth realm through bodies. People. So they have to influence the spirits of people for their bodies to be used to accomplish a particular task or goal. So the same way God uses people, the devil uses people. Anytime there's getting ready to be a move in your life, God is going to use a person or people to make that happen. Anytime the devil's trying to take you out, he's going to use a person or people to make that happen. Do you understand the parallelism? Right? The enemy can only imitate that which God does. My God, today, baby, I'm preaching today. If I ain't preaching to nobody else, I am preaching to myself. The enemy can only imitate what God does. He can only imitate. He can only imitate the power of God. He does not have the power of God. So that means that everything that he does is an imitation. It is an imitation. And one thing about an imitation is the more times you copy a thing, the less power it has. You need to understand that the imitation does not have the power that the original has. Don't worry about nobody trying to imitate you. Don't worry about them trying to copy you. It's a compliment, baby. Let them copy you. Let them imitate you. They'll never have the power that you have. They'll never be an exact replica. Even when we talk about cloning, now cloning is different from copying, right? Because there's a greater level of accuracy, but it is still what? Counterfeit. It is not the real thing. It's not the real thing. So you need to understand that even when the enemy tries to clone the power of God, it ain't the power of God. When he tries to get you to move in a direction that God is not taking you, and you say, well, I don't know if it's God or not. I don't know. It might be God, but I'm not sure. Listen, you want to know? Ask God. God, is this you? And if you are tuned to his voice, you will hear him. If you're still unsure and you're still unclear whether or not it's God, is it moving you towards destiny or is it moving you towards distraction? My God, today I'm preaching to me right now. Is it moving you toward destiny or is it moving you towards distraction? If it's moving you toward distraction, it is not God. If it is distracting you from your purpose and your destiny, if it interferes with your ability to accomplish what God has told you to accomplish, if it has got you off kilter, if it has got you emotionally off balance, it is not God. It is the devil and it's his strategies. He's imitating God. He's imitating God, but he ain't God. So when you fall prey to the strategies of the devil, how do you get back in line? How do you get back to that place? How do you get back centered? How do you get back focused? How do you get back when you fall and pray? Stop, drop, and roll. Listen, I'm just trying to help somebody today. Listen, you find yourself having gotten caught up in the strategies of the devil, the things that he has put in play to distract you, to get you off kilter. Stop, drop to your knees, cry out to God and roll away from what is distracting you. Why do I say roll? Listen, let me tell you why I say roll. Sometimes you can't walk away from it. My God, today. Oh, y'all don't hear me though. Y'all don't hear me though. Sometimes you can't walk away from it. Listen, it's got so much of a stronghold on you can't walk away from it. But baby, listen, if you'll just stop and drop on your knees and allow God to lay you prostrate on the floor and then roll on away. Roll a little further away from it. I know. Maybe y'all ain't never been in a situation where you couldn't walk away from a thing. You couldn't walk away from it. Like you wanted to walk away from it, but you couldn't walk away from it. You wanted to walk away from it, but the draw, the pull, the magnetic force was too great. The chemistry was too powerful. Oh, you wanted to walk away because you said, I know this ain't what I need in my life right now. I know that I don't need to go in this direction. I know I don't need, listen, y'all don't understand. This is why y'all can't understand drug addicts. Y'all don't understand. Y'all act like y'all don't know what it's like to be in a position where you can't walk away from something, like where something has such a hold on you that you can't get away from it. Oh, you don't understand that. I don't understand. I just need to walk away. You don't understand how nobody's in no abusive relationship and still staying there. You don't understand that, but you should understand, because you too have fallen prey to something. It may not be drugs. It may not be alcohol. It may not be an abusive relationship, but it may be sex. It may be food. It may be being a workaholic. All of those things have the same kind of function. They're designed to distract you from your destiny, to keep you from your purpose, to keep you from getting to where God is trying to take you. Stop, drop, and roll your way away. Baby, sometimes all you can do is roll. You can't even crawl, baby. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all don't know about that. Y'all don't know about that. Y'all don't know about, you can't even crawl your way. You just got to roll. Now listen. So my son babysits a little boy, and the mama wants the little boy to crawl. She wants the little boy to crawl. But I literally watched this baby. He was sitting up. He's a big baby. He was sitting up, and I watched him just fall over. Now, for most people, that fall would have taken them out by itself. The fall would have taken them out by itself. He just fell over. But he didn't stop there. He fell over, and then he began to roll. Now listen, I walked away. When I came back, he was in a totally different position. He had rolled his way away from the spot that he was in. Now, if that baby can fall over and then roll his way to where he's trying to get to, what is your excuse? I get it. You can't walk away. I get it that the pull is too great. I get it. I'm not judging you. I don't have a hell to put you in. And I don't care what it is that is that thing in your life. It can be failure. You're so accustomed to failing. You've made it your best friend, but you haven't learned a single lesson from it. How you done fell in love with failing. You expect to fail. You anticipate failure. You do everything in your power to sabotage yourself so that you can bring to fulfillment the prophecy that you've spoken over yourself. You make it self-fulfilling. And now you're trying to figure out, why do I keep failing? Because you never learn a lesson. The problem is not something not working. The problem is you get comfortable with things not working and you make it your norm. You never study why it didn't work enough to learn a lesson. God, what are you trying to teach me in this? What are you trying to teach me in this? What do I need to learn in this? I don't care how many times you fail. I don't care how many times things don't work. I care, did you learn a lesson? Did you learn something from it? Because if you learn something from it, then it will allow you to experience it a little bit differently the next time, until you get to the point where you're saying, listen, I tried it this way, this didn't work. I tried it that way and that didn't work. And I tried it this way and that didn't work. But what I learned from this was this. And what I learned from that was this. And what I learned from this was this. Now, if I put all this together, then I ought to be able to find a way to make it work. But you get so used to sabotaging yourself that you don't allow your sage mind, your God mind, to give you the answers creatively, because you're trying to fit in the box that someone has said that you're supposed to be in. I made a conscious decision to not allow myself to be put into a box. Because the moment you put me in a box, you're going to be frustrated. I'm not going to be frustrated. You're going to be frustrated because I don't fit. I'm not going to fit in your box because it makes you comfortable. I'm not going to do it the way you want me to because it makes you comfortable. I'm not going to say it the way you want me to because it aligns with your views and your convictions and your values. Listen, those are yours. That's the key word in that phrase. yours. Okay. What I'm going to do is be authentically me. And authentically me doesn't look like you. Authentically me doesn't fit in your box. Authentically me doesn't fit in any box. There's no box that you can create that can handle all of the uniqueness of who God has made me to be. Baby, I promise you, the moment you think you got me figured out, here I come with something else. I just knew. Okay, I was with her until she said the F word. I was with her until then, but I'm not with her no more. And that's fine because it is a separation season, a season of separation. If you can't handle the F bomb, you can't be in my circle. Why? If you can't handle me saying it, I ain't saying you got to say it, but if you can't handle me saying it, you can't be in my circle because I might need to use it. See, as a communication scholar, I've learned that God gives us tools to engage in effective communication, right? And effective communication is not just you said the words, but the words accomplish what you needed it to accomplish. And sometimes, in order for my words to accomplish what I needed to accomplish, I might need to drop an F bomb. Did it get it done? Oh, okay. Effective communication. You can say without the V, you can say it differently. I could say it differently, but would it get the desired effect? Because what the F bomb does is it shocks people. See, some of y'all around here in the day, you walking zombie, the walking dead, you ain't woke. But let me drop the F bomb. Y'all will wake up then. What did she say? That? Was she talking about sex? What did she just say out her mouth? Oh, then you wake up. See, you got to understand that God gives us tools, and every tool is not designed for the same situation. Oh, sometimes you can't walk away. Sometimes you can't walk away. You definitely can't run. But baby, if you can't do nothing else, stop, drop, and roll your way away. Stop, drop, and roll. Get away from it. Figure out how you can just be like, God, I can't do this on my own, God. So I'm gonna need your help. I'm gonna need your assistance. I need some divine intervention, God. Now listen, I can't do nothing else, but what I can do is drop down and pray. When I can't do nothing else, listen, let me just roll my way, scoop my way away. God, I can't walk away. I can't, God. I want to walk away. I do. I desire to walk away. It is my intent to walk away. I said, I'm walking away. I'm not doing this again. I'm never going to do it. But the thing that I would do, I don't do that. That's not what I do. The thing that I don't want to do, that's the thing that I find myself doing. And when that happens, I got to shake myself and I got to say, stop. Stop. Why are you doing this? What self-sabotaging behavior is at work right now? What saboteur is operating in your life? What is it what's going on? Oh, that's your pleaser. Oh, you just trying to please people. That's what's going. Oh, that's your high achiever. Oh, you trying to achieve because you think your worth is in your achievement. Oh, that's your restless. Oh, because you think that, you got to keep, switching things up, doing new things. So I got to do something new. 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 Because nothing ever fulfills you. You got to understand what is at the root of it. What is at the root of it? We talk about putting on the armor, but do you understand why the armor is so important? The armor is so important because it allows you to attack the strategies of the devil differently. You know what his strategies are. He's been using the exact same strategies on you and in your life since you were a child. You see, as a child, when you were in your most vulnerable state, he began to deposit seeds that are designed to destroy you later in life. Oh, they help you survive. Like, well, I'm just not going to care about anybody. I'm just not going to care about anybody. I'm not going to care about what anybody thinks, what you really do. But what you're saying is, I'm going to put a wall around my heart so that I don't get hurt. And it helps you to survive through, the people that should love you, not loving you, the things that you should be provided with, not being provided for you. It gets you through that. But then the same thing that helped you survive begins to work against you. I tell people that as a Black woman professional, the things that help me to be successful in my professional life are the very same things that destroy my romantic relationships. Those things help me to be successful in my professional life. I use them to be professional. Don't mess with me. Don't mess with me. These are not the problems you want to have. But that same attitude, that same mentality in a romantic relationship destroys the relationship. It destroys it. Oh, I got to be tough. I got to be hard. But the same thing that we use in that realm to protect ourselves, to advance professionally destroys a relationship with a man. We got to understand what the enemy is using. His strategies don't change. He may change the person. He may change the situation slightly, but his strategies don't change. That's why you've got to get to the root of your self-sabotaging behaviors, because it's the key to getting to the other side. So let's put the armor on. So what does the armor look like in our lives? It says, first of all, we're not wrestling against flesh and blood. So stop fighting people. You're not fighting them. You fighting the wrong enemy. You done slapped the person, but it ain't even them. You dealing with something deeper than that. You're dealing with the spirit. So when we put the armor on, then we can resist the enemy. So what's the armor, right? It says, stand your ground. Stand firm, flat-footed, 10 toes down on what God told you to do and on who God says you are. Putting on the belt of truth. Let's start right there. Put on the belt of truth. Tell the truth and shame the devil. Tell the truth to yourself about you, about others, about situations. Walk in the truth. Because when you walk in the truth, you shine light on darkness. Truth is truth. And just because I put on a face or a facade of who I am, because I don't cuss on a live or in public, doesn't mean I don't cuss. Do y'all understand? We get so good at looking like. We get good at looking like, but we're not that. We good at looking like this perfect ideal that people have said that you're supposed to be. We look like it, but it ain't who we are. Because on the inside, with that same scared little girl, same scared little boy that we were, that got chastised for saying, the truth. And so we just stopped telling the truth. We stopped saying anything. We just stopped talking. We learned to blend into the background, because maybe if I'm in the background, I won't get in trouble and I won't get a whooping. We learned to not let our light shine, because people told us that we just always want to be the center of attention. You always just want to be the center. You always want somebody looking at you. So we fall back and blend in. Y'all listen, the truth is the truth. And the truth is that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, that you are the apple of God's eye, that you are strong, that you are victorious. That's the truth. Anything else that suggests anything other than those things is a lie from the enemy, designed to deceive you into sabotaging your own destiny, because he can't take it from you. But what he can do is position you so you walk away from what's rightfully yours. It's tricks. That's the real trick, right? The treat is this. When you learn to believe God's word and stand on the truth, when you put on the belt of truth, then it girds you. It girds your loins, and it has you like, listen, this is the truth at the center of your being. Where does the belt rest? On your waist. The waist is the center of your body. That is the place that separates your top part of your torso from the lower part of your torso, right? It connects the two parts, the upper body and the lower body, right? That belt. Oh, God talking right now, because y'all, I ain't never in my life talked about this. This is revelation for me. The belt of truth is positioned in the place that separates your upper body from your lower body. It is the thing that connects it. It is at that core place where truth makes the difference, that can reverberate from your waist up and from your waist down, so that your whole body is impacted by that truth. It says then, put on the body armor of God's righteousness. Cover that chest piece, right? Your chest, it protects your heart. What does? God's righteousness. What is God's righteousness? It's you doing everything right. It's you having to be perfect. Nah. That's not what that is. God's righteousness is your ability to walk in the truth, accept the truth, and repent when you're wrong. God's righteousness. We're put in right standing by God by his grace. It is our acceptance. It is our acceptance of his love, his grace, and his mercy that makes us righteous, and not we ourselves. Oh, you can't be righteous, and you can't work your way into righteousness, baby. I'm trying to tell you, I don't care how many works you do, you cannot make yourself righteous. Your works do not make you righteous. So for those of you who feel like if you just pray long enough, if you just go out and oh my goodness, witness enough, if you convert enough people, if you speak enough, if you speak in tongues enough, if you do all of this, then you're righteous. No, I don't care how much of that you do, it don't determine your righteousness. No, it doesn't. It is God's grace that puts us in right standing with him. It is the blood of Jesus that covers us, that makes us righteous. Our righteousness is not in our works. Stop trying to work your way into righteousness. You can't. But if you are deceived into believing that, then you will work yourself to death and be exhausted. You will be like, I was in the church, I'm in church, I go to church every Sunday, Saturday, whenever y'all have church. I go to church all the time and I pray and I tithe and I give and I do this and I do that. But God, why does it feel like I'm not progressing? Because you're basing your progression and your ability to progression and your righteousness on works. You've got a wrong mindset. You got to get your mind right. See, when you get your mind right, see, that's what truth does. Truth gets your mind right. Truth gets your mind right. If you lying, you need to know that you're lying. Some people lie so much and have lied so much to themselves that they don't even know that it's a lie anymore. They believe it. They think it's the truth. They tell themselves, listen, when we talk about saboteurs, we talk about these justification lies, right? These lies that justify our behavior. And so let's say, for example, if you tell yourself long enough, well, I'm doing this for them because if I don't do it, nobody will do it. It's a lie. It's a justification lie. Oh, I'm being selfless and I'm being a good person. It's a lie. There's something that you're getting out of this. It's not just about you being selfless. See, when you understand that, then truth will be able to allow you to walk into God's righteousness because you'll understand the truth. You can't work your way into righteousness. You can't do it. You can't buy it. You can't labor for it. So stop doing that and rest in him. Just receive his righteousness. Receive it. But you can't receive it because you're trying to save the world. Because you think that's going to make you righteous. It doesn't. Your righteousness is not in the clothes that you wear. It's not in the words that you speak. It's not in the things that you do. Your righteousness is something that God gives to you. And you just have to receive it. Can't work for it. You just have to accept it. So when we put on the breastplate of righteousness, it is a gift that God gives us. He's handing it to us, and we just have to put it on. Period. So now we've got the belt of truth and the truth that reverberates from our waist up and from our waist down so that our entire body is covered by truth, authenticity, realness. We've got the breastplate of righteousness that is a gift from God that we can't work for. See, now you're starting to get it. Now you're starting to get it. Truth will help you get it, right? The truth helps you understand that the breastplate of righteousness is a gift from our Creator. Listen, you try to protect your heart. Put on the breastplate of righteousness and let that protect your heart. You can't do it. Let him do it. Let his righteousness do it. It says, for shoes, put on the peace that comes from the good news so that you will be fully prepared. Baby, let me tell y'all something. I want you to think about this. This is one of the gifts that one of my friends, one of my brothers gave to me yesterday in the pastor's appreciation. He said, if I could give you three things, I could give you three things. And one of the three things was peace, right? Why does the peace go on your feet? Why your shoes? Why that analogy? Why, God? Why is it that you want us to put on peace for our shoes? If you've got peace for your shoes wherever you walk, you can walk in peace and you can take peace to those places. Think about it. There are homes that when you go into, what do they tell you? They say, take off your shoes. Why? They believe that your shoes carry things in, whether we're talking about in the natural dirt and germs or in the spiritual spirits in places where you've been. So you take off your shoes. So when you put on peace for your shoes, the shoes of peace that comes from what? The good news. What's the good news? That both Jews and Gentiles have been saved. Salvation is for all of us. God's salvation is for everyone. Everyone, not just one group of people. Everyone. So when people start talking about, well, we're the only ones, that are chosen by God, we're the only ones that are going to heaven, we're the only ones. When you say that, that is not the good news. That's not what the Bible says. That's not what the Holy Writ proclaims, right? So you put for your shoes peace. Peace in knowing that you have equal access to God. You have equal access to God. Baby, I don't know about y'all, but that make me shout, honey. I got equal access to God. I don't have to go through the pastor, the prophet, the priest. I don't have to go through them. I have direct access to my Creator. In fact, my Creator resides within me. Direct access. Baby, you better stop playing with me because I got access. Okay? So that peace that comes from the good news, so that you'll be fully prepared, and wherever you walk and wherever you go and whatever situation you find yourself in, you can encounter it with peace. A peace that surpasses understanding. They don't even understand why you got peace, because it look like it should be all hell breaking loose around you, and you should be devastated and torn up and blood pressure high, and you having strokes and all this stuff. Is what it looked like. But baby, God's peace, baby, will keep you in the midst of the storms of your life. A peace that surpasses understanding. A peace that people didn't give you and they can't take away from you. In addition to all of these, hold up the shield of faith to stop the fiery arrows of the devil. What is the shield? So, y'all, listen, I've been watching a lot of I want to say like medieval, but kind of like medieval, like barbarian, Game of Thrones. And they have these shields, right? And when it talks about the fiery darts, there are times when in battle, there are certain people who use bow and arrows. They use arrows and they light the arrows on fire because they're going to have a twofold attack. Oh my God, God, you speaking. Hold on now. Hold on. Wait a minute. Let me get this revelation right here. God, now I see why you've been having. Okay. I told y'all God is so deliberate. Okay. So it is a twofold. It is a twofold injury. The arrow is designed to pierce the skin and the fire is designed to burn you up. So if it doesn't kill you when the arrow pierces your skin, the fire will catch you on fire. So two ways you're being attacked. So when it talks about the fiery darts of the enemy, the fiery arrows of the devil, he's sending to you a twofold attack. He's sending something to pierce you and something to burn you up. God. So your shield of faith, it is your faith in God that allows you to see the arrow coming and move it into position so that when the fiery arrow comes, it hits the shield and not you. It intercepts the attack. And it prevents the attack to reaching you. Check this out, y'all, baby. Get this right here. Get this. So when you have on the shield of faith and the arrows come, and the arrows are coming, people are making accusations. People are talking about you. All of these things are going on. And you put your shield up like, boom. Not only does it not pierce you, it can't burn you. Not only does it not pierce you, it can't burn you. So what does the shield of faith do? The shield of faith is your ability to trust God in the most crazy situations, or when you know you're being attacked unjustly, but you just trust God and you say, listen, my faith is in God because I believe and I know for a fact and for certain that all things work together for the good of those that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. So it don't matter what you throw at me. I know even that is going to work together for my good. I can't lose. I can't lose. There's no lose in me. No matter what you send my way, my faith prevents it from destroying me. It prevents it from penetrating my skin to convince me that I am who you say I am. No, I am who God says I am. I can't even listen. The darts of my own mind can't even penetrate me. Do you understand when you got that shield of faith up? Listen, because your mind will try to tell you, oh, you ain't good enough for that. Who do you think you are? Oh, why do you think you can do this? You think you cute. You think you this. Listen, I had a friend of mine and he texted me. I sent him some pictures when I had gone out and he said, oh, you think you cute? I said, no, I don't. I know I'm cute. You hear me? I know it. It's not about what I think. It's about what I know. See, faith allows you to believe with every fiber of your being what the word of God says about you. Faith. That's what the faith is. The shield of faith is the faith to believe every promise that God has made concerning you. I don't care what it looks like. Oh, it looks like I'm living a nomad life. It looks like I'm on the downswing. It looks like I'm down and out. Baby, you can think what you want to say, what you want. It don't matter to me, because let me tell you what I know for sure and for certain. And those who know me know this. And do you know how I know they know this? People keep saying this to me. So I know they know it. It means they've watched me. They watched me in situations that should have taken me out, that would have taken a regular person out, but I ain't regular, okay? I am super, okay? I am supernatural. You understand? And because I know that about myself, I walk in my supernaturalness. So what would have taken a normal person out, a regular person out, they watch me go through it and come out on the other side better. Y'all didn't hear me. They watch me come out on the other side of what should have destroyed me, what was sent to destroy me, to pierce my heart and cause me not to love again, to pierce my heart and to doubt people and never be willing to make a connection, and to burn me up from the place of the wound all over. But it didn't. So when people say to me, one thing about you, hey, I know they know what they're getting ready to say. I know. One thing about you, you ain't gonna let no grass grow under your feet. In other words, you're not gonna stay stuck in no situation or location that is no longer working for you. One thing I know about you is you always get up. Translation, it may have knocked you down, but baby, you can't tell. One thing I know about you is that you gonna love again. And I am, like I'd never loved before and was never hurt. Do you understand what I'm saying? See, because we want to carry all this stuff with us, it prevents us from having the fullness of what God desires for us, because we're carrying all this old stuff. No. One thing I know about you is you're going to find a way or make a way. I absolutely am. Do you know why I can do that? It is my faith. I believe in God, and I believe in God in me. So I believe in me. Do you understand? I believe in me because God created me, and he's deposited things in me that make me, that make me unique, that make me authentic, that make me a one of a kind and original. I am designer. I don't have to wear designer to be famous. I am designer. I am the master's design. Okay. I am a master design. You understand? See, and when you begin to believe that about you, you'll stop allowing people who are not qualified to dictate your destiny, to convince you of what you cannot do, what you should do, how you should show up, how you should be, how you should talk, where you should go, how you should minister, how you should live. You'll stop it because you understand that as a designer's original, only the designer can identify the exact use. Oh, there are many uses, many ways that you can wear the same thing, but the designer had a specific design in mind when the item was created. I'm not saying it can't be used any other way, but the designer knows why it was created the way it was created. And God knows why he created you the way he created you. It is the shield of faith, belief that God did not make a mistake when he made you, when he gave you your personality. See, I've learned that you got to be careful when it comes to kids, right? Because there's a reason that they have some of the attitude, the mouth that they have. So it's not your job to destroy it, but it's your job to teach them how to navigate it, when to use it, how to use it. Baby, the shield of faith will allow every attack that the enemy launches against you to hit it. And it might stick in the shield, but it didn't pierce you and it didn't burn you up. Babe, I'm telling y'all, God's speaking today, baby. God doing some stuff, honey. You better, oh, Lord. And then you got to put on salvation as your helmet, right? The helmet of salvation, knowing for sure and for certain that you belong to God. Now, I know there are churches and religions and denominations that say that if you sin, then you are going to hell. And I've never read that in the Holy Writ. I've never read that in the Bible, and I do not believe that. I do not subscribe to that. I do not, right? The helmet of salvation is knowing that you have been saved by grace, by the ultimate sacrifice of Jesus. The helmet of salvation says that I am saved. Like, I can mess up and I'm still saved. The helmet of salvation is designed to protect your mind. See, because the enemy likes to play tricks with you. You know, there's a song and it says, my mind playing tricks on me, right? The enemy likes to play tricks with your mind. You got to protect your mind. Stop letting people think, oh, if I do this, I'm going to go to hell. Listen, you so scared of going to hell that you won't move, you won't do anything, you won't live life. You so terrified of going to hell, of making a wrong move, that you will not do what God told you. Because what if it wasn't God? What if I'm wrong? What if I didn't hear him? Oh my God. Y'all get your mind right. Listen, understand this. When you understand this principle, right? That Jesus came to save us, right? Made the ultimate sacrifice for our salvation, right? We can put that helmet of salvation on. And check this out. Check this out. Check this out. Check this out. Listen to me. Listen to me. So now that if I have this salvation, you think he gonna throw me away because I messed up? I took a left turn when I should have turned right? Or do you think he's gonna say rerouting? He's gonna reroute you. Why? And we know this, that all things work together for the good of those that love the Lord. All of them, everything, your wrong turn is working for you. God knew you was gonna make a wrong turn. He knew you was finna sin. He knew how long you were gonna stay in that sin. He knew that it was gonna take you to stop, drop, and roll to get away from that sin. He knew. And he is giving you grace. He is giving you grace. He knew exactly how long you would struggle with it, how many times you would fall back, what it would take to pull you out. He knew. He knows. It's already in the plan to work for your good. He's already decided how he's going to use that particular thing to get you to your destiny. It's already written. It's already established. You're simply walking out what God has already seen. He's already seen it. He knows it. And if he wanted to, he would cause you to drop dead if that was his plan. But you don't have to beat yourself up. You just have to get up. That's it. And keep going forward. Keep going forward. Stop beating yourself up. about the things that you view as inadequacies or failures or failed relationships, failed marriages, failed jobs, failed businesses. Stop. Stop it. Get your mind right. We're in a battle for your destiny, and you can't get to it because you're busy beating yourself up because somebody convinced you. Unless you beat yourself up, you never get better. When my kids were younger, I have two sets of kids. I have an older set and I have a younger set. And with my older set, I used to think, and even my younger set to a point, I used to think that whooping them was the key to everything. If I beat them enough, then they'll stop doing it. If I just beat them enough, they just need to be beat, right? And I'm not saying kids don't need whoopings or spankings. I'm not saying that. But I thought if I just beat them enough, they would get it. I punch them in the chest enough. Give me your chest. Because you ain't finna be no soft boy. That's what you're not finna be. You're not finna be no wimp. Give me your chest. Chest up, man up. Take it like a man. If I did it enough, then they would just be good. If the whoopings hurt enough, then they would stop. But it doesn't work like that. Yeah, it might create fear. Yeah. And and that fear might prevent them from doing some things. But it also does something else. It puts them in a place where the only moves that they make out of fear. Do you want your life to be driven by fear? Or do you want it to be driven by love, knowledge, and understanding, light, power, and empowerment? I had to, and it wasn't just, I didn't just beat them or anything like that, because I also talked to them. I did. But imagine. See, knowing what I know now, I would do it differently. Yes, sometimes you got to tap them to get their attention. You absolutely do. Yes, sometimes they need a whooping because you need to talk to them. But you can't just beat them. You can't. It doesn't work. In fact, it reminds me of something. It says, masters, treat your slaves in the same way. Don't threaten them. Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger by the way you treat them. Do y'all get it? God is trying to get us to get our mind right. We have been conditioned to use fear in all aspects of our life when it comes to raising our children, on the job, fear of losing your job, in the church, fear of being moved out of a position, fear of going to hell. We use fear as a motivation, right? Now, fear is a powerful motivator. The only motivator more powerful than fear is love. Isn't that ironic? And people will say, I would rather be feared than loved. Because fear gets people to move quickly. But love gets the moves to last. Do y'all see the difference? See, God wants us to understand that when we're taking this journey that, we gotta protect our mind, because the world will have you convinced that you need people to fear you. But what happens when people love you? When people love you, they'll die for you. When people fear you, they'll push you to your death. It's a difference. And then he says, and take the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. The word of God cuts, and it cuts like a two-edged sword. It cuts the lies. It cuts those misconceptions. It cuts. It cuts and it separates the good from the great, the boys from the men, the girls from the women. The appearance of godliness from godliness. Baby, let the word work in your life. Use that sword, starting with you, to cut away the lies that you've told yourself that have locked your heart in a case that have put rock around it. Cut it off so that you can experience what it is that God desires to do in your life. It says, pray in the Spirit at all times and on every occasion. Stay alert and be persistent in your prayers for believers everywhere. And pray for me too. Ask God to give me the right words so I can boldly explain God's mysterious plan that the good news is for Jews and Gentiles alike. Listen, I get it. The world gets in an uproar when someone says something about Jews and Jewish people, right? But do you not know that God's plan and his good news is for everyone? It's for everyone. And on top of that, the people that we currently consider Jews are not the original Jews. So we got our history mixed up. We fighting and in an uproar over the wrong people. What are we doing? We got everything so twisted. And we don't even know it's twisted because we have replaced the truth with lies. That's why the belt of truth is so important. It will allow you to see the truth, and the truth will make you free. Now, people could say that what I just said was an anti-Semitic remark. No, it was truth. Why are we afraid of truth? Because truth reveals things that we don't want to face. Listen, Paul said, I am in chains now, still preaching this message as God's ambassador. Will you preach God's message, and will you be his ambassador, his representative, even when you find yourself in chains, even when it costs you things and people and opportunities? Will you still do it? He said, so pray, not that I will get unchained and get free, but pray that I will keep on speaking boldly for him as I should. See, we want to silence people. We want to cancel people. God doesn't cancel us. What is this cancel culture? Another trick of the enemy for us to destroy each other and destroy ourselves. Because while you canceling somebody else, somebody want to cancel you. No, listen, if you see me being persecuted, don't pray that the persecution stop. Pray for me that I will continue to speak boldly for God. Pray for me that I will keep speaking boldly for him, whether I'm in chains or whether I'm free. As a parent, as a child, as a slave, as a master. Pray that I will continue to speak boldly for God and proclaim his word as truth. It is in that we are able to continue this fight and this journey. It's not for the faint at heart. It's not for the weak-minded. But baby, if you catch on, if you hold on to this, if you get your mind right, there is nothing that will be able to stop you. Not even you. I pray that this word has blessed you. I pray that you've gotten some encouragement and that you are strengthened in your core to go on, to run on and see what the end is going to be, to allow the truth of God to wash over you, your entire body, your upper body and your lower body, that you would understand what putting on the whole armor of God means, that you would understand that the commandment to honor thy father and mother is not based in fear. It's not based in fear, but rather in what God expects of us, and that's love. The same with the master and the slave. Listen, y'all, we got to get our minds right, baby. You on that job doing the bare minimum for them people. But it says work as though you are working unto the Lord. Everything you do, let it be done as unto God. Would God be pleased with you? Listen, it's a new day and a new season. And as we prepare to go into the month of November, getting ready to launch our 21-day fast starting November 1st through November the 21st. We're doing a 21-day fast Forward Focus 21. If you don't have the book, get the book and join us in this fast. I'm telling you, it'll change your life. Put book in the comments if you need the book. Put fast in the book in the comments if you want to join us on the fast. We'll connect you to the group and the link to purchase your book. Y'all listen, this is what I know for sure, for certain, that this fast right here, this fast, when we come out of this, oh, baby, there's some things in the works for December. Listen, my prayer is that you will stand on the word of God and the promises of God like never before, that you will allow him and his truth to convert you into the person that you were originally designed to be, because you are a designer's original. Get your mind right. You ain't got to wear designer to be designer. Listen, I love you guys to life and life more abundant. May God continue to protect you. Also, let me not forget this. Today, starting at 5 o'clock Central Standard Time, 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 5 to 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, I'm doing the No More Sabotage, No More Sabotage. Listen, you have an opportunity to learn how to kill the self-sabotaging behaviors that have held you hostage in your life. You can go to the class at https://bit.ly/no more sabotage. Part 1 and part 2 are happening today. You can do both of them for one class is $75. Both classes is $140. And Afterpay is available. You're able to do it in 4 payments. Baby, let Afterpay help you pay. Okay. But I'm going to tell you this. It is a game changer for your life. Listen, I'm telling you, my goal is to empower God's people to get on the other side of sabotage, especially sabotage coming from yourself. Look, I pray that you all join us. It's going to be amazing, incredible, and epic. But if you don't, just know God ain't going to say that I didn't give you the opportunity, because I did. And bring a friend so that you guys can do it together. If you're a couple, come and do it as a couple. Baby, I'm telling you, God desires to set us free. And what sets us free is the truth. And it's time for you to know the truth so that it can make you free. Look, I love you guys to life and life more abundant. Have an amazing, incredible, and epic day. I'll see you later. Be blessed.